then definitely it should pervade the entire creation, including my body and mind. So, it is difficult to to conclude that I have to reach it. If it is all perfect. So that idea that I have to reach it, if it goes from the mind, it is a correction. See, it is a correction. And Brahman cannot but be all-pervasive. It's a very etymological meaning of the word Brahman. Brihat tamatvad Brahman. Briham Siddhaus. The very dhatu. Briham means the unlimited. So if it is unlimited, now this inner discomfort that I have to reach it, that very conclusion that I have to reach it is against the very nature of the truth. If the nature of the truth is that it is all pervasive, it should pervade my body, it should pervade my mind, it should pervade, it cannot be separate from our being, you see. Notice, I don't have to make any move to reach the truth because I don't have to reach it. This particular correction has been done. The Siddhanti said, we don't have to reach it. This statement that I don't have to reach should relax a person. If it is a truth which I have to reach, it will not be of any use to me because what I reach, I may have to depart from. That means, if reaching is there, departure also is there. Now, having heard this entire explanation, now the Purva Pakshi comes up with another objection. Said, okay sir, Brahman is not something that you have to reach. Brahman is something that you don't have to reach. But because Brahman being unlimited, you don't have to reach. But it is something that you have to purify. This is the argument that we are seeing. The unlimitedness, the purity of our being is covered. Our status of being Brahman is covered. Now we have to remove that cover. And removal of the cover is always by action. Because removal is an action. To add is an action. To remove is an action. Like to add soap to the cloth. Adding soap to the cloth is an action. And removing the dirt from the cloth is also an action. It's act of adding, act of removing. So the Purvapakshi says, we are pure by nature, we are Brahman by nature because Brahman, as you say, it is all pervasive. If it is all pervasive, it cannot really exclude my being. If it doesn't exclude my being, then it should include my being, means my being itself should be Brahman. Purvapakshi says, yes, your being is Brahman, but that status of being unlimited is covered. And that cover, whatever be that cover, which we call impurity, that impurity has to be removed. And for removing it, you have to perform an action. Knowledge is of no use. So, after knowing that the cloth is unclean, then I have to work on the cloth. I have to work on it. Working on the cloth is called an action. Similarly, you have to work on yourself and somehow or other remove the dirt, the impurity from the self. And you have to do some religious actions or spiritual activities and then work on yourself and remove impurities from your being, Purvapakshi says. Not from your mind, from your being. In answer to this question, the Siddhanti says, this is where we are. Please see. He also gave an example, just as the Adarsha, a mirror, collects dust and you have to remove the dust by way of rubbing. That is called Nikarsha. In the same manner, you have to work on your being to remove the cover, to remove the impurity. This is the universal thinking. Everybody thinks, I have become impure and I have to remove it. Atma is pure, but then by nature it is pure. Intrinsically it is pure, but then it has collected some impurity. You don't have to create purity, but only remove impurity. It's a very, very dangerous argument. It sounds almost like, you see, you don't have to, you don't have to create the truth. You have to only remove the error. See, we say you don't have to create unlimitedness. You have to only correct the error that it is limited. We say you have to only know how you are unlimited. You don't have to become unlimited. You see, you don't have to become unlimited. You are already unlimited. You have to know that you are unlimited. This is what Vedanta says. Now, look at this argument. You don't have to become unlimited, but you have to only know you are unlimited. This is Vedanta Siddhanta. And look at what the Purvapakshi says, and what he says sounds, more or less like Siddhanta, but it is different. What does he say? You don't have to become pure. You are already pure. You have to only remove impurity. How do you remove impurity? By action. We say you are already pure, you are already the truth. You have to only know, discern your being from your thoughts, discern your being from the body and from the drishyam. We advocate, the Shruti advocates only figuring out your being already the truth. Whereas the Purvapakshi says also more or less the same, it sounds the same. You don't have to become pure, you don't have to become unlimited, you have to only remove the impurity. Exactly like the mirror. You don't have to create the shine in it. The shine it already has. You have to only remove the dust by working on the mirror. For this, the Siddhanti says. Now, onward. Now, Kriyashriyatvam Anupapattehe Atmanaha. Here it says Atmanaha. See, a mirror is available to work on. You can work. Kriya means action. Ashraya means the locus. When I hit the table, this hitting is an action. This action. And the table is ashraya. You see, when I do like this is an action. And the table is ashraya. Table is available to be acted on. Pick up this phrase. Table is available to be acted on. In fact, in this world, every object is available for being acted on. Everything is available for being acted on. My body can be acted on. I can act on any object. So I can add impurity to something and also take away impurity. I can clean the table, clean anything, clean the body. So the physical objects can be acted on. In that way, they all become the ashraya of kriya. Ashraya of kriya, meaning objects of action. Meaning you can locate an action on the object. As the locus of an action, it is called kriyashraya. Now the Siddhanti is saying, my dear sir, Atma cannot be acted on. If there is impurity in the self, you cannot remove that impurity by way of acting on the self. Because the self cannot be the locus of an action. That's why here Siddhanti says, Kriyashrayatva Anupapattehe Atmanaha. आत्मा का क्रिया का आश्रम होना असंभव है. आत्मा का क्रिया का आश्रम होना असंभव है. जैसे टेबल क्रिया का आश्रय हो सकता है, Atma, the awareness, cannot be the ashraya of an action. So if the self cannot be acted on, then how are you going to remove the impurity if there is impurity? How can you remove the impurity? Therefore, it cannot be. It is not that we have to remove the impurity from awareness. This is one argument. The second argument and third argument and fourth argument, we can go on giving argument after argument to enlighten a person that the problem is not that our being has impurity and it needs to be removed. The second argument you can hear. Is it known impurity or unknown impurity? If it is known impurity, then it comes under the realm of the known. And the one who knows is the Atma. And the one who knows his knowing capacity, his consciousness, his effulgence is not covered. If you say there is impurity, known impurity or unknown impurity, if it is known, then the one who knows has not lost his effulgence. And the known impurity doesn't qualify the one who knows. In no way. The known cannot qualify the one who knows. This is one argument. If you say it is a cover on the self, now again I ask the question, before you remove the cover, you should know that it is there. If you know, if it is a known cover, again the same argument, the one who knows the cover is effulgent. His effulgence is not covered because he is able to know the cover. So the cover also is a known cover if it is there. It is just an argument. If you think there is a cover, is it a known cover or an unknown cover? If it is a known cover, then definitely the one who knows he is effulgent. If it is impurity, known impurity, unknown impurity. If it is a known impurity, then the one who knows is effulgent. Therefore, what is it that you want to remove? The one who knows is not qualified. And therefore, the first argument is the self cannot be worked on. It is not an object for us to locate an action on it. The second argument is the one who knows the impurity is effulgent. The one who knows the cover is effulgent. As effulgent, he is pure. As aware, he is pure. And awareness doesn't have anything mixed up with it. Because anything referred to other than awareness gets illumined by awareness. And the illumined doesn't qualify the awareness. Therefore, our being is ever effulgent. Our being is ever evident. Our being is never qualified by anything. And therefore, the need is not to remove the impurity from our being. The need is to understand our being as distinct from, all that is objectified, known, etc. This is Siddhanta is talking about. Kriya Shriyatvanupattehi Atmanaha. He elaborates on this argument. Yad Ashraya Kriyam Tam Abhipurvati Aiva Atmanam Labhati labhate. Yadashraya kriya. An action directed towards an object. An action directed towards an object or located on an object. Like when I hit the table, I am directing the action to the table, or I am locating the action on the table, so the table becomes an object of action or the locus of an action. Now when I perform an action, that action does bring about some effect on that object. It is not that it will have no effect, it will have effect on the object. So yadashraya kriya, an action located upon a given object, tam avikurvati, without, tam means what? Tam vishayam, us vishay ko avikurvati, without affecting that object. Kurvati, kshatri pratyaya, kriya being feminine gender, therefore kurvati. Vikurvati means without changing. Vikurvati, vikar. Kurvati, vikurvati, avikurvati, without change. Kurvati, doing, vikurvati, changing, avikurvati, without changing. So kriya being feminine. Therefore, an action located on a given object, naiva atmanam labhate, it cannot exist. An action located on a given object, it is not possible for it. It is not possible for the action to take place on a given object and yet not affect the object. Without changing the object, the action cannot take place. Meaning, it is not possible for an action to take place on the object. It is not possible for an action not to change the object if that action is directed towards that object. It has to affect it. So, yadashraya kriya tam avikurvati naiva atmanam swam labhate. It is not possible for an action not to affect the things. In that manner, if you start, locating, if you start doing an action on the Atma, and if the Atma is available, supposing the Atma were available to be acted on, like the table is available to be acted on. If Atma also is available to be acted on, then definitely it is also available to go through change when it is acted on. So that would amount to saying that the Atma is available for being affected, for changing. Then it becomes changeful. Whereas the Shastra is saying that the Atma doesn't change. If Atma doesn't change, then neither the time can act on the self, nor the actions can act on the self. And therefore, so to say that we have to act on the self to remove the impurity, it would be wrong, because the self, if it is available for being acted on, it would be available for change, then it would not be eternal. Whereas the Shruti is saying it is eternal, changeless. And our experience also says, really we don't change. We may not recognize that we don't change. We may live with the conclusion that we are changing. But if you refer to the experience, not conclusion, the experience is constantly saying that we don't change. Because our knowledge of change, that I am aware of the change in the body, that I am aware of the changes around me, that I am aware of the changes in my mind, that I am aware of the changes like the very beginning and end of the mind, that I am aware of the changes, that it is my knowledge, the knowledge about the changes in me. I am the proof of the change around me. I am the witness of the change in the body. I am the witness of the change in my mind. This very knowledge proves that the one who knows the change doesn't change. That means constantly that I am aware of the change is constantly proving that the one who knows the changes doesn't change. Therefore, he is not Anubhava proving the changelessness. In Anubhava there is no change. Not only there is no change, not only we don't experience change in our being, but we are experiencing the fact that we don't change. Changelessness is what we are experiencing. That I change is our conclusion. That I am aware of changes is the Anubhava, and that I am aware of the changes means the one who is aware of the changes doesn't change. Therefore, our awareness of the changes is effortless. Our knowledge of changes is effortless, universal. That knowledge of the changes doesn't change. The one who is a witness to changes doesn't change. That is Anubhava. That is Anubhava. That I am there, aware of the changes, body, mind, whatever, the knowledge, the waking begins and ends, the dream begins and ends, the mind begins and ends. This is all what? Change. Srishti, Laya, so it's a change. And the one who is experiencing the changes doesn't change. Therefore, to say that the Atma is subject to change goes against what the Shruti says, and it also goes against our own intimate, universal experience. Avikaryoyaham naivatmanalabde yadi atma kriyaya vikriyeta anityatvam Atmanaha prasajjeta. Now, Bhashyakara says, yadi, in case. Atma, the self, our being, kriyaya, through action. Vikriyeta, if it were changed, vikriyeta, passive voice, and vidhi, vikriyeta, akkad vidhi, vikriyeta. If our self were to change through action, if our self were transformed through an action, Anityatvam Atmanaha prasajjeta, then Atma would be non-eternal. Atmanaha Anityatvam prasajjeta, ऐसा प्रसंग हो जाएगा. प्रसज्जेता, वो भी यत्र विधि. सज, सज धातु यक नीता प्रसज्जेता, सज्जेता प्रसज्जेता. So then it would amount to saying that the Atma is non-eternal. So if the self were available for being transformed through an action, then it would be non-eternal. And in order to make it non-eternal, then it should be subject to change basically. And what is subject to change, on that alone we can locate an act. We can act upon what is available for change. Whatever is available for being acted on can change. And what is available for change alone can be acted on. The Atma being changeless can't be acted on. And therefore by acting on it you can't remove impurity. By acting on Atma you can't remove impurity because it is not available for being acted on. And therefore the effort should not be to become pure. Because whether you like it or not, you are pure. What a wonderful truth. Whether you like it or not, you are true. You are pure. Purity is choiceless purity. Next, please see. Prasajjeta avikaryoyam uchyate iti chaiva madini vasyani vacheran. And also the Shruti says avikarya, unchangeable. Vikaryaha, karyaha, vikaryaha, vikaryaha, not available for change. Ayam is self, uchyate is considered. The Shruti is said to be changeless. How do we take it? Very interesting. This self is considered changeless. Considered by whom? This self is said to be changeless. Said by whom? Considered by whom? Considered by whom? Nobody considers it. It is experienced as changeless. This self is experienced as changeless, and that is referred to by the Shruti. So the Shruti looks at the self as changeless. The Shruti knows the self as changeless. One may see oneself as changeful, that is the error. The changeless self is viewed as change because I equate my being with what I see. So if this is me, then this changes, therefore I also change. This is not adhyasa. This is adhyasa. What else is adhyasa? I am aware of the change of the body. That I am aware of the change makes me changeless straight away. What changes can never know its changes. And that I am aware of the changes makes me changeless. And that is the anubhava. And that I am aware of the changes itself is the anubhava of my changelessness. I am going to repeat this one. That I am aware of the changes is itself the anubhava of our changelessness. So when you say, Swamiji, I am only experiencing the changes, but I am not experiencing the changelessness, when you say, now I can't take you somewhere else to experience the changelessness, this very experience pertaining to the changes in the body and the mind, whatever changes, that very knowledge of the change is the knowledge of changelessness. The very knowledge of the change is the knowledge which is the anubhava of Changeless. Are you able to follow? Witnessing change means being changeless. Witnessing change means being changeless. Therefore, being changeless is Anubhava Siddha. Being changeless is Anubhava Siddha. That is seen by the Shruti, not seen by the Jiva. So the Shruti comes and says, Avikaryoya Muchyate, hey, you are changeless. And the Vakyas like this, Ityevamadini Vakyani, the statements of unfoldment like this, Adhyaran, would all be contradicted if we say that the Atma also changes. You see, accepting impurity in the self and accepting that by acting on the self, you can remove the impurity. That the self has impurity, one statement, and that the impurity can be removed by acting on the self, the second statement. And therefore the self can be acted upon, third statement. And therefore it is available for change, the fourth statement. Therefore it is available for change, that means it is available for change. This fourth thinking goes against the Shruti's vision that the self doesn't change. This whole thinking that the self has impurity and you have to act on the self and you have to remove that impurity by acting on the self is wrong thinking, because by acting on the self would change, and unless it is changeable, it can't be acted upon. And if it is changeful, if it is changeable, then the Vedic statements that the Atma is changeless, plus the Anubhava that we are changeless, would be contradicted. Therefore, Vakyani Bhathyeran, yet and again with you. Taccha Anishtam. And this is not desirable. Now the Purvapakshi says, alright, let all the Shruti Vakya be contradicted. We are thinking, and if our thinking is right, and if Shruti's thinking happens to be wrong, so what? Let us think in our own way. Let us go by our own logic, and let us conclude that the self has impurity and we have to remove it. We have to rob the self of the impurities. In this manner, why can't we think? And even if our thinking goes against the Shruti's thinking, so what? In this manner, fortunately, Purvapakshi doesn't say, because he would accept Shruti also. I mean, he too would accept the Shruti as a pramana, the problem. Here the Purvapakshi is a Mimamsaka. Here the Purvapakshi is a Mimamsaka, the one who accepts the Shruti as a pramana. Pacha Anishtam means that is not acceptable, desirable for either you or me. That is called Anishtam. Whenever we say Anishtam, that means that would go against both the parties. I would like to go against what the Shruti says, nor you would like to go against what the Shruti says. We have to find out what the Shruti says in keeping with the Anubhava. And the question is Anubhava. What is the Anubhava? Now we have to work on the Anubhava. The Anubhava is, there is no Anubhava of having impurity, there is only Anubhava of freedom from impurity. And if we don't take into account that Anubhava, then really, who is going to interpret the Shruti? Which interpretation is right? Really, anybody can interpret the Shruti in any manner. There is no interpretation. Each one trying to interpret it in his own is not acceptable, because I have to see my anubhava. And anubhava need not be interpreted. You don't interpret anubhava. You see anubhava as it is. And here the Vedanta makes one think in this manner. The very knowledge of change proves that you are changeless and nothing else. We don't need anything. That something changes is my knowledge. That something begins is my knowledge. That something ends is my knowledge. That the waking begins is my knowledge. That it ends is my knowledge. That the dream begins and ends is my knowledge. That my mind begins and ends is my knowledge. That my pleasures and pains begin and end is my knowledge. And that my knowledge is also the knowledge of my being changeless. That is anubhava. Tasmat na swashraya kriya atmanaha sambhavati. Now, Bhashyakara concludes this particular argument. Therefore, sir, you can't act on the self. Atma is not available for being acted on. Tasmatu, therefore, not swa-ashraya, located on the self. Kriya, action. Atmanaha, for Atma. Sambhavati is possible. Na sambhavati, na to be correct. It is not possible for Atma to allow an action to be located on itself. Meaning Atma is not available for being acted on. Therefore, what karma can you do? How can you do a karma? Directly to the subject. Therefore, this theory, spiritual theory, that we have impurity and we have to remove the impurity through spiritual rites or religious rites or some meditations, that has to be removed. That accepting impurity itself is a flaw. Accepting impurity in the self is a flaw. Now, is it your belief or do you see it? If you see it, it is not yours. What is seen is not yours. You see, sometimes I say, it is seen, therefore it is mine. If you say it is seen to be mine, supposing you say, not only it is seen, but it is seen to be mine. I say that it is the seen itself makes it not yours, because the seen doesn't qualify the seer, doesn't belong to the seer. Therefore, it is seen to be mine, quote unquote, is the whole truth and the whole error. That I am the seer is the truth, and I see something to be mine is an error. If it is seen, it is not yours, because you are the seer. If it is known, then you are the knower. And what is known? It really doesn't qualify the knower. It is not an adjective of anyashrayayastu kriyayaham avishayatvat na taya atma sanskriyate. Generally, when we go to Ganga, etc., or morning spiritual actions, rituals, in all these rituals, like snanam. Snanam is located on the body. I am acting on the body. When I do prokshana, I am acting on the body. So body becomes the ashraya for kriya. Let become the terminology. Body becomes the ashraya for the action, kriya. Snanam, achamanam. Similarly, when you say Madhavaya Namaha, Madhusudaya Namaha, Madhusudaya Namaha, and Anandaya Namaha, Anandaya Namaha, these are what? Mind. You are acting on the mind. Hey Bhagavan, may not be angry, may not be greedy, may not be jealous, may not be disturbed, may have peaceful thoughts, good thoughts. That means I am acting on the mind. So the actions, centered on the body and the actions centered on the mind can only purify them, affect them, but not affect the Atma. Therefore, these purificatory rituals purify the body and the mind. These purificatory rituals cannot purify the self. They have nothing to do with the self. Because those purificatory rituals are all I am aware of. I am aware of the body and I am aware of also an action. I am aware of the mind. I am aware of the work being done on them. So that Atma, that knowledge is not getting purified. Knowledge of impurity is pure. Knowledge of impurity is pure. Knowledge of impurity. Awareness pertaining to the impurity of the body. The awareness pertaining to the impurity of the mind. That awareness is pure. So here Bhagavan says, the actions centered on the body and the mind have nothing to do with, they don't affect the Atma. That's said yes. Anyashrayaya stu kriyaya. Actions centered on something else, like the body and the mind. Kriyaya, kriyaka. Avishayatvat. Atma is not the object of Atma is not the object of the actions centered on the body. Atma is not the object of the actions centered on the mind. And therefore, na taya atma sanskriyate. Therefore, taya kriyaya atma na sanskriyate. Atma is not purified. You can't conclude that Atma is getting purified by the actions centered on the body and by the actions centered on the mind. So, even if one thinks I am getting purified, but actually what is getting purified is the body and the mind. And that purity of the body and that purity of the mind may help us discover, understand the self as ever pure, not that these actions really purify the self. Clear? Dehashraya Snana Achamana Yajnopavitadikaya Kriyaya Dehi Sanskriyamano Drishtaha. Sir, he gives, this is the really touching, a very important, crucial thinking of every jiva. This is a very crucial thinking. When a person is following religion, when he is doing religious action, religious prayers, religious rites, spiritual prayers, is purifying his body and mind. In fact, in all religions, what do they do? Only purifying. They will say to like this, it is purified. The Muslims will say like this, purified. These are all really what? These are simply religious things. and then you put a few drops on the head. Head is purified, ear is purified, your eyes are purified, vagera, vagera. That means what? These are all acts of purifying the body and acts of purifying the mind. And these acts of religious purificatory rites or spiritual rites really purify only the body and the mind. But man thinks, I am purified. Dehi is purified. Actually, Deha is purified and the mind is purified. But the idea is, I am getting purified. I am getting purified. But which I is getting purified? That Mr. So-and-so individual, actually the mind is getting purified. The individual is getting purified, not actually Atma is getting purified. And that is also made clear by Bhashikara. My dear sir, when you say I am getting purified, you as an individual, Mr. So-and-so, meaning only the body and the mind, is getting purified. Not even Aham Pratyaya Vishayatvam is getting purified. Very wrong. Because Aham Pratyaya Vishayatvam is an error. The error can't become impure or pure. The error is an error. That I like, that this is snake is an error. Then how do you make it pure? That this is snake is an error. No, add some purity to it. Or add some impurity to it. I say this idea that it is snake is an error. Now, what is it adding purity to it and adding impurity to it? Error is an error. In fact, if you add purity to the snake, it would still be an error. If you add impurity to it, it would still be an error. Because fundamentally, what is it? It's an error. Therefore, I am an individual is an error. Now, is the individuality that I am a limited individual, this idea that I am a limited individual cannot be purified, cannot be made impure, but itself is an error about the truth. That I am an individual, see, that I am the body. Body can be pure, body can be impure, okay. Now I am the body, I want you to think about this. How the very idea of purity and impurity is irrelevant. That I am the body, tell me. Add some purity to it. I am the body is an error. I am the body is a distortion about the I, the Brahman. Now I am the body is a distortion. Now what is adding purity to it? Then what is adding impurity to it? Therefore, when I purify the body, it is within the error that I am the body. When I remove the impurity, then also the pure body am I. What is it? An error. The impure body am I. What is it? An error. The pure mind am I. Error. The impure mind am I. Error. That error cannot be made pure or impure, and that needs correction. That remains the same despite religious rites, despite spiritual practices, despite anything, minus Vedanta, this will continue to be the same. The fundamental error that I am the pure body or impure body will continue, and there I have to enter the Vedanta and do the Viveka and go into the experiences to see how this very idea that I am the form is indeed adhyasa in the Brahmavastu. There, and it's a different education. Therefore, what is purified is only the body and the mind. I am even not accepting that the individual is purified. Because individuality doesn't become pure or impure. The individual's body and mind becomes pure. He entertains a sense that I am a pure individual or impure individual. That is a notion. But that notion itself is is an error. That I am a pure individual, quote unquote, is within the error that I am an individual. That I am an impure individual is within the error that I am an individual, that I am limited. That I am an individual, that I am limited is adhyasa, is an error, and that error is not available for being affected by our so-called day-to-day religious and spiritual practices. That is why here he says, Purvapakshi, he asked the question, Nanu sa dehashrayaya. The centered on the body. Snana, bath. Achamana, achamana, taking water. Yajnopavita, putting on sacred thread. Adikaya, etc. Snana, achamana, and yajnopavita. This is Vedic rites. Now in other religions also they must be having some kind of. In fact, they are all opposites. Not taking snana is purification. No achamana, that is purification. No yajnopavita, that is called. Anything that a Hindu does, they do the ulta way. And it becomes purification. Purification. The opposition is purification. Avoiding is purification. When you do roti like this, this is what we call the pan. Then how do they do roti? They do like this and then. You don't know that? बहुत जानने का है जी. You like it? Never like it. This is called roti. How do you wash your face? Like this or like this? And you wash like this. You do. And you wash like this. You do. All opposite, I am telling you. But I don't bother, we need not worry about whatever be their religious rites, whatever be their spiritual activities, but they only can purify the body and the mind, that notion. See how Bhashyakara explains, how he defines physical and mental purity is very beautiful. Now please first understand the objection. Dehashraya snana achamana yajnopavitadikaya kriya. Sir, the Purvapakshi says, the religious actions like snana, achamana and yajnopavita, they heat the self by the actions, snana etc. purifies what? They heat the self in the body. Sanskriyamana, being purified, drishtaha, is seen. Dehi is drishtaha. The embodied soul, the self is seen to be purified. Snana, achamana, yajnopavita seem to purify the person, the self in the body. You say the self is not purified, but actually snana, achamana, yajnopavita seem to purify the self in the body. That is why you entertain a sense of purification. You do feel a sense that I am purified. And everybody enjoys that sense of being purified. That sense of purification, here it is said, snana achamanadehe dehadis snana achamana yajnopavitadikaya kriya dehi sanskriyamanaha drishta. For which the Siddhanti answers, no, it is not true. It is not true. Atma is not purified. Yes, Dehi is purified. Dehi does not mean the Atma, that individual who thinks that I am the body. Whoever thinks that I am the body feels purified. That remaining the body, he entertains a sense of purification. This individual identified with the body feels purified. Now feel this individual in equation with the body, when he feels purified, it doesn't mean that feeling of purification does not correct the error that I am the body. This error doesn't get corrected by the sense of purification. Remaining within the error that I am the body, he entertains the sense of purification. That means it's a mental purity. Dehadi samhatasya eva. This is what we have, this is the line we have to see. Dehadi samhatasya eva avidya grihitasya atmanah sanskriyamanatvāt dehadi samhatasya eva. The one who is associated with the Deha, etc. Avidya grihitasya, the one who is in ignorance, in the grip of the ignorance. Atmanaha, the self. Sanskriyamanatvāt is indeed what is purified. What is purified is only the self in equation with the body. Avidya grihitasya atmanah dehadi samhatasya. Samhata means in a sankhata. In equation with the body, the self in equation with the body, and the self in identification with the body, and the self that is in ignorance, within ignorance about itself, feels a sense of purification. That doesn't mean the self as such becomes purified, because it doesn't have to become purified. Dehadi sammatasya vidya grihitasya atmanah sanskriyamanatvāt pratyaksham hi snanam āchmana dehe deha samavayitvam pratyaksham hi. It is indeed evident. It is indeed evident. We all see it. What is it? Snana, achamana, dehe. Snana and achamana, etc. Deha samavayitvam, that they are all indeed centered on the body. That the snana is for the body, achamana is for the body. And therefore, whoever is in equation with that body alone entertains a sense of purification. Hey, the one who is in identification with the body is Atma. So Atma feels purified. Atma feels purified in which situation? In the state of embodiment. But the snana, achamana do not correct the adhyasa that I am Deha. And that I am Deha is the adhyasa. Therefore, within the realm of adhyasa, there is a sense of purification. This sense of purification within the realm of adhyasa is what we call purification of the body and the purification of the mind. That is accepted. But that does not mean he becomes really, the self becomes purified of all the problems. Pratyaksham hi snana ajamana dehe deha samavayitvam. It is all evident that snanam and ajamana etc. are centered upon the body. Taya dehashrayaya Kashchit avidyaya atmatvena parikrihitaha sanskriyate iti yuktam. Taya, by that action, Dehashreya, centered on the body, the action that is centered on the body. The action that is centered on the body, by that action, who is purified? Tat samhata eva. Tat samhata means Deha samhata. The one who is connected to the body. Tat samhata eva. Kashchit, some self. Kashchit means here jiva. So the one who is in association with the body, the one who is in equation with the body. Kashchit, koi, avidyaya, through ignorance, atmatvena parikrihitaha. Atmatvena is oneself parikrihitaha. The one who has, there is someone who has taken himself to be the body through avidya, through avidya, atmatvena as himself, parigrihitaha, he has been taken. The one who has taken himself to be the body through avidya, it is he who feels purified by the snana and aja. Body doesn't feel purified, but the one in identification with the body through avidya feels purified. Kashchid avidyaya parikrihitaha sanskriyate, is purified. Iti yuktam, and that is proper to say. It is correct to say, not that Paramatma gets purified, but this Atma in equation with the body who thinks that I am the body feels purified. He is purified. And he is purified means what? Jiva getting purified means what? Jiva's body becomes purified and Jiva's thinking, the impulses, etc., the mind becomes purified. But he continues to be within the era. What is the era? That I am the Jiva. Here, that I am the Jiva is not impurity. That I am the Deha, this notion is not impurity. Nor is it purity. It is an error, adhyasa about his being the unlimited self. Remaining within the error, he entertains a double sense. Now I am pure, now I am impure, now I am pure, now I am impure. This is called Dvandva. Adi. This is a Dvandva. Now I like, now I dislike, now I am pleased, now I am displeased, now I am comfortable, now I am uncomfortable, now I am pure, now I am impure. Iti, who is thinking? The Jiva is thinking. And who is this Jiva? The Paramatma with the sense that I am Deha. That means that I am Deha is an error. And that error cannot be removed through religious and spiritual rites, spiritual rituals. You can't do it. So, if somebody thinks, if my sense of purity becomes more and more and more and more and more, so if I go and take dip every day in Ganga for the whole life, even then what? You will continue to feel I am a very pure individual. Then you start blessing others first. That's all. That is called pure. But who is blessing? Only the same individual. In comparison to others, he is better, therefore he goes about blessing, which is, it can work. That is a purity. That is useful. We are not talking about its utility or otherwise. Hey, this is only, it is not that the self is purified, the body and the mind is purified. iti. Sanskriyate iti yuktam, you can put a mark. This is all in answer to the Purva-Pakshi's argument that if the self can't be reached, okay, but the self is available for being purified. In answer to it. You don't have to purify. That means by accepting that the self is available for reaching, or the self is available for being purified, or the self is available for being modified, etc., then you skip knowledge. Then it is no longer education. Then it is no longer understanding. Then there is no vidya. Then Shastram ceases to be a pramanam. Shabda ceases to be a pramanam. Karma becomes. Then karma becomes the sadhana. If action is sadhana, then Shabda is not a. So sab gadbad. Om Gurnava Gurnam Gunam Gurnachate Gurnasya Gurnamata Gurnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Ramachandra. ठीक है जी जाएंगे. नहीं होता नहीं. It's all neat, you know, and it just comes out. We have not other ones. You use it. आप अपना प्रयोग कर लो. I have got good ones, not to worry. You can use it.
Packet of blade. This is very good for Mundiram.
There is that another boy has gone. Maybe then thing.
It was very nice.
Okay, thank you. You see, all purificatory, all religions, vagera, 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 they live only under the impression that this very purificatory things will lead to salvation, vagera, vagera. But the error can't have any, the error also is not, like this time the truth is not affected, error also is not affected. Error is not affected. The error doesn't become loosened up. The error doesn't become loosened up because you become very pure. In fact, the feeling that I am an impure individual, I am a pure individual, the sense of individuality is not going to be active. They go and continue. Therefore, all these religions come under karma kanda. They don't have Veda. They all have karma kanda. Only Uber karma kanda. Can't understand. Because we can't even call it karma kanda. Because if we accept it as karma kanda, then punarjanma has to be there. Continuity of life. You see, how can you really go through the karma phalam sitting with God in spirit? We have committed so many crimes here. Sitting with God, you see, you can't. Within the law of karma, you have to take janma and then raise the music. You can't be sitting with God. God will say, go back, exhausted. It is not even karma kanda. It doesn't accept, they don't accept law. And what are all these religions? They don't understand. And they all come and convert our people. It is meaningless. What a Kali Yuga. All stupid things. All stupid views, stupid theologies come. These Vedic people, they try to take away the Vedic amazing. The great things see a spiritual culture. How you are taking the people away from the really valid spiritual culture into a kind of form. See? Useless. There is neither karma gana, all law of karma. Not the definition of God is right. Nothing is all Upadkhapa. See, in our concept, Upadkhapa offers some order, but that is a Upadkhapa, which is nothing. So yesterday, told Swami, it's all of no use. Better set your own house in order. He can. Small things like opening the temples, etc. He said, unless you do that, I told Swami yesterday that was the point of discussion. Unless you put your foot down and tell these Shankaracharya's, Vagera, Acharyas, about we have, open the temples to everybody, nobody will take you anywhere. It is not a poverty, this is another block. There are so many Muslims who are poor. Do they take to other religions? You see, you are comfortable where you are a part of the society, you can participate in the society. Social processes, ups and downs are a part of the social process. Poverty, everything, they are collectively going through. We collectively participate in all our good and bad things. But if there is nobody, if they are not allowed to participate, then they feel alienated. The sense of alienation drives them into somebody else's arms. So one of the most crucial things is the places of worship should be available for everybody. And human beings do understand this fact, that at least we should have equality before God. Nothing. And there also they don't know what. And I said, you better go and do but Puri, Shankaracharya, Vagera, unko dimag theek karo. He is such an adamant person. What is this? One man holding the country to ransom? Just a handful of people holding the whole nation to ransom. Neither these Shankaracharya, who are they? Really speaking, who are they? What is the temple for? For the public. For the public. They are not really represented by, they don't really, everybody doesn't, I suppose tomorrow Shankaracharya really stand for elections. Ideally they won't get more than a handful of votes. And they are holding the whole nation to ransom. You open, see Puri people, Assam people, millions of Hindus who are backward, they say either you open the temple by this date, otherwise you are going to have a church. And still they don't listen. I am realist. I feel really Hindus, the Vedic culture is great, but these Hindus are really dumb. I mean, the ship is sinking. And these people are still, they're digging holes in the temple. It's already sinking. What is that about? Why should you not allow people inside the temple? Keep a coat, come in, clean clothes. In fact, it will become a festival. In fact, when we go to the temple, we go in our Sunday spectrum, Sunday best. See, Bhagwan ki, we go, nice dress, silk clothes we wear and go. They can also get used to, hey, we are going to the temple, let us have a bath and then dress up well and go and put chandana. So sanskar aa jati. Once you go to the temple, sanskar aa jati. Because temple gives all sanskaras. And they don't have sanskaras. You say they don't have sanskaras. Unless they have sanskaras, you can't enter there. Unless you enter the temple, you can't have sanskaras. It's not that really before you began going to the temple, you had sanskara. By way of going to the temple, you develop sanskaras. I don't want to use all useless, all waste. The root cause has to be removed. The root cause is that. All those people who feel alienated, they will go, they will become quickly. Reservations are keeping them with us. Let me tell you the truth. You remove the reservations, they will all wholesale become Muslims. Wholesale. Not become Muslims, but they will all become Muslims. Don't want to become Muslims because they're scared of Bush. Don't like it. The West is anti. One will say, yes, I am going to do it. But Puri Shankaracharya is adamant. Can't you ignore it? There are other Shankaracharyas who are in majority, they are all agreeable. All the acharyas in the country are agreeable. We have Acharya Sabha. We have the agreement of all the acharyas. And one Puri he doesn't want to come. Then problem is he will commit suicide. If they enter, then I will commit suicide. All right, commit suicide. This is a dharana. My atma, I will burn myself. They don't know yet. They are still in their own world, where the country is moving, what is happening to the country, and the demography of the country, and they are being surrounded by Muslims all over, and we will get into trouble. Anyway, they are going to take up this point very strongly now. This Puri thing is going to come up very strongly. In a few days, I think we are going to hear something nice. Hari Om Narayana.